so make sure you have your pencil and erasers. Remember to pause whenever I've done one step. Write it out on your own and go from there. Let me get me zoomed in there. And on the first problem, all right, there we go. So simplify the expression below. If you did a quick preview of tonight's problems, you will see that we need to use our order of operations. Groovy math dudes always shine. Or divas. Okay, so simplify this expression. 33 times 9 divided by 6. Now, as the weeks have gone on by, you know, you guys have gotten really good at the order of operations. So what they're trying to do is pull in other math skills, like trying to divide and multiply with larger numbers. So remember, always use scratch paper, use any part of the paper to show your work. But I do need to see your work. So I'm going to come to the side. I know that I need to do 33 times 9. Okay. 3 times 9 is 27. Carry the 2. Again, 3 times 9 is 27 plus 2 is 28, 29. So the answer to that is 297 divided by 6. Okay, so now I'm obviously doing that. That's the only other order of operation that's left. And I'm going to come over here to this side and set up that long division, 297. Well, the first thing, obviously, 6 can't go into 2. Can it go into 29? Now, I know that it could go to 30. 6 times 5 is 30. But that would be too much. So what would 6 times 4 be? It would be 24. Remember, don't put the 4 over the 2. Put the 4 over the 9. 29 minus 24 gives me 5. Okay, I drop down the 7. So now, how many times can 6 go into 57? There's nothing wrong with you doing your T-chart over here. 1, 6, 2, 12, etc. if it helps you. Okay, also when you're doing your math homework, you should have your interactive math notebook with you, because that goes from school to home. And you can always look at your math facts, multiplication facts table at the back of your notebook. But what I like to do is think about it. Okay, 57, I know that 6 times 10 is 60, so 10 would be too much. Well, what about 9? 6 times 9 is 54. So that's as close as I can get, so I'll subtract that. 54 minus 50, or 57 minus 54 gives me 3. Now, I want to not have a remainder. I'm going to move this way so it's really front and center. So what today is testing you is, what do we do now? Not to do a remainder. We know that adding a decimal to this number and adding a 0 does not change its value. So now I can drop this 0, and I can put 6 into 30. How many times? 5 times. Which means that then I need to move my decimal up from there too. So my answer for 297 divided by 6 is 49.5, or 49 and a half, or 49 and 5/10. Okay. Now let's move on. And today a lot of these calculations that we're doing are very much connected. And if you get that first problem right, it'll help you as you do the rest. So simplify this expression below. 33 times 9 divided by 6 plus 2. Well, if we're going right to left, left to right, we don't see any groupings. I do see a multiplication first, so I need to attack that one. And we already did that 33 times 9, and we came up with 297, so I'll just go ahead and rewrite. 297 divided by 6, we just did that here too. So, put in your answer. 49 and 5/10 plus 2. So now you just do this. Okay, that's all that's left. Now I can come over here and do my work. Now remember, when you're adding, you do need to add up that place value. Okay, you can't put the 2 here because that's on the tenths place. 9, 10, 11, carry the 1, 5, 51 and 5/10. That would be your answer. Okay, let's move on to the third simplifying expression. And I have a feeling, I'm seeing a lot of familiar numbers, I have a feeling some of these are going to repeat too. So remember, grouping first. So now we do 9 divided by 6. But you know what, guys? I don't know if this is going to be nice and neat here. Okay, but again, they're testing us to see if we can add a decimal and an imaginary 0 to help us out with this dividing. So 6 divided by 9. Okay, so the 9 ends up being my divisor. And 6 can go into 9 once. So I end up with 3. I need to add in my decimal, right? Drop that 0, and now I can see that 6 goes into 30 5 times, move up that decimal. So for this grouping, the answer is 1 and 5/10. I'm going to rewrite it. Notice how I did an X for multiplication instead of that dot. Okay, and now I read it from left to right. No more grouping, but I do have multiplication. 33 times 1 1/2. I'm going to come over here to this side. Now, when you're multiplying, you don't need to line up the decimal place value, because at the end we're going to see how many place values we move to the left in order to put our decimal, and you'll see it at the end. So 5 times 3 is 15, carry the 1. 5 times 3 is 15, plus the 1 is 16. We need to drop our 0. I've already used that one. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 3 is 3. And now I just add across 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. And remember, don't forget your decimal. I moved 1 over here, so then I've just moved 1 over there. So 33 times 1 1/2, or 1 5/10, okay, is 49 5/10 plus the 2. Oh, I remember we did that on the last one. So 49, 50, 51, 51 5/10. Cool. Alrighty, let's move on to number 4. And like I said, if you're using scrap paper, keep it handy, because we're using a lot of the same numbers here. We're just kind of adding on the level of difficulty. So the first thing first is I need to look at everything that's in these groups. 9 divided by 6. I did that already previously, so I look back and that was 1 5/10, and I'm just going to rewrite it because that's our rules when we deal with order of operations. So what's still in my grouping? Forgot that part. It's 10 divided by 4. I'm going to come over here and do that. Now how many times can 4 go into 10? Twice. 4 times 2 is 8. I need to do my subtraction. 2. Add in the decimal and the 0, imaginary 0 for the place value holder. Drop that 0. 4 can go into 20 nice and neatly, times 5. Don't forget to add your decimal there. Checking that out. Remember, use your pause button and then look at the math, copy it down, learn from it. All right. So then we said that it was 2 5/10. Okay, so that is there, 33 times, right? So now I need to add the 1 1/2 and 2 1/2. 1 1/2 plus 2 1/2. Remember, when I'm adding, I do need to line up those decimals. 5 and 5 is 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Drop my decimal, so it's 4 as a whole number. 33 times 4. That's what I'm doing now, right? I dropped all that. So over here on the side, 33 times 4. 3 and 4 is 12. 3 and 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13. Okay, I don't need to drop an egg because my second number doesn't have a tens place, just a ones place. So my final answer is 132. Cool. Now let's go to our multi-step Monday problem, and I'm going to zoom out just a little so you can see the whole problem and the 3-step. Alright, looks good. Maybe in just a tad. Alright, so multi-step Monday. Randy is cooking for a party. His recipe calls for 2.5 cups of cheddar cheese and 2/3 cups of pepper jack cheese. How many cups, main idea right there, of cheese will he use if he doubles the recipe? Okay, so that means doubling 2 times. Isn't that what it means? Alright, so let's do our 3-step. Here I'm just doing my arrow down for my main idea, how many cups of cheese if he doubles. And then what is my details? Cheddar cheese was 2.5 cups. And my pepper jack was 2/3. Can you guys see that? But we're doubling it, which means we can multiply by 2 or we can just add it twice. So 2/3 and 2.5. And the reason why I'm adding is because we've been practicing adding, but we have not yet multiplied a whole number and a fraction times a whole number. So we'll just keep it simple. So it's a multi-step because we got to add the cheddar cheese amount if we're going to double it, add the pepper jack cheese, and then after I have those totals, because the recipe calls for both, I then need to combine again. So let's get started. 2.5 plus 2.5. The beauty of this, when you double it, is that your denominator is the same, so you don't need to do an EFT. Okay, 1 plus 1 is 2. Keep your denominator. 2 plus 2 is 4. But what does this represent? A whole. So really my answer there for the cheddar cheese was 5. 5 what? 5 cups. Now let's do the pepper jack. 2/3 plus 2/3. So I'm looking at the numerator. 2 plus 2 is 4/3. So really, if we take out my whole, you guys see, sometimes I have to look up to see if I'm not off the page. And then 4 minus 3 is 1/3. So this is really 1 1/3. Am I done? No. Cups. Right? This is the cups. I need to combine my cheddar cheese and my pepper jack. So 5 plus 1 1/3. Over here. So if I'm adding 1/3 and 5 plus 1 is 6. Do I need to simplify? No. So what is the 6 1/3? It's 6 1/3 cups of cheese. Yum. Awesome. So that finishes up week 21 for Monday night's homework. Sorry if I ran that off the screen. And I will see you Tuesday. Bye-bye.